What's going on, everyone? Welcome on into the Cleveland Browns Report. We got some roster moves to talk about, and then we're going to take some questions from our live audience during our live show, which airs every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. But first, I want to highlight the recent roster moves made by the Browns. Excuse me. They made a couple of additions to the active roster. They signed Geron Christian, an offensive tackle who's got a lot of NFL experience. I think he has 20 career starts under his belt. So that gives him a little bit of flexibility and some insurance behind James Hudson as long as Jedrick Wills is gone, which he was officially placed on IR today. So that means he will miss at least the next 4 weeks. James Proche was also signed to the active 53-man roster. Now, they could have kept promoting him from their practice squad, but unfortunately, Cameron Mitchell, the rookie corner who filled in for Greg Newsome, he went down with a hamstring injury. I did not see that one at all. So he's out for the next 4 weeks. And so with 2 open roster spots, Proche was the most deserving based on what he did for special teams last week. And once those 2 guys were added from the practice squad to the roster, well, the Browns had some practice squad spots open up. Trinity Benson is a preseason legend. Trinity Benson is the Austin Watkins for Denver. That's the kind of guy you just signed to your practice squad. Vincent Gray, people might remember the name, guy from up north specifically. Maybe he's going to be able to steal some signs. I didn't say that. You said it. For the Cleveland Browns defense moving forward. Justin Murray, an offensive lineman, he was added to the practice squad. He's got a lot of NFL experience. I think he's the one who's got more experience than Christian, actually. And then they released a tight end because they wanted to add 3 guys to the practice squad and bring on an extra offensive lineman. So here's how the offensive line looks like for Cleveland after all these moves. James Hudson steps in at left tackle. I don't think you're going to see Dawg Jones go to left tackle and have James Hudson play right tackle, but maybe we see a change if Hudson is really struggling at left tackle. Christian comes on to be the new swing tackle potentially if something were to happen to Hudson or Jones. And, well, Jones has gone down in 2 straight games now, so it's not impossible. As for the wide receivers, Proche joins Cooper, Moore, Goodwin, Tillman, and David Bell. So a 6-man wide receiver room. And then the cornerback room is a little bit thin if they don't get Greg Newsome back. Because if they don't get Greg Newsome back, with Cam Mitchell on IR, I could see them, and I think they will, call up A.J. Green for one of those 3 free call-ups from the practice squad. But the cornerback room all of a sudden is a little bit thin and does not have a lot of good insurance policies in place. Ultimately, though, I think it's clear that with Jedrick Wills not going to season-ending injured reserve, there will be no Jason Peters signing, right? No veteran tackle coming in to fill in the rest of the season. The Browns are going to try and hold down the fort until Jedrick Wills comes back with James Hudson and Dawg Jones. I think they're confident in their guys, right? They're confident in their coaching staff to get those players prepared for the next 4 or 5 weeks until Jedrick Wills can come back. Now, really quickly, never miss a roster move when you are subscribed to the channel. I don't want you in the dark for a single thing. So if you want to join the #1 Browns news and rumors channel, hit that sub button down below. Now let's get to some questions for our mailbag on today's show. As this first one comes in from everyone's favorite dad from Step Brothers. You wrecked my boat, you goons. Should the Browns sign Sammy Watkins? Good question. Remember, they brought Sammy Watkins in for a workout. They have his cousin, Austin Watkins, on the practice squad, who I'd like to see maybe get a chance before they bring in Sammy Watkins. But there is something to be said. The Browns' wide receiver room is getting very little production after Amari Cooper. That has to change. You just can't bank on one guy being the entire production for an entire room. If something were to, God forbid, happen to Cooper, we are SOL. If Cooper goes up against a really good cornerback, like, say, Marlon Humphrey from the Baltimore Ravens, who's going to step up and command more targets and get more first downs and keep the chains moving? We need to see more production. And if they don't see more production, I could see the Browns dipping into the free agency pool to see which veteran is out there. But if you were Andrew Berry and you were calling the shots, would you add a wide receiver or would you stick with this current room? Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to the Browns adding another wide receiver down below in the comment section. We got a super chat coming in from Dr. Crew. I don't think we give PD enough credit for giving the best news and rumors about our Brownies. This looks like such a plant by me right now, but I promise it's not. Dr. Crew, That's going to make one hell of a subscriber right there. Thank you very much for your kind words, dude. I really appreciate you. And hey, if you want more Browns content like Dr. Crew, join the channel. Miami Mac, what's going on, dude? I think we should sign Taylor Lewan, or at least bring him in for a workout. So the first question I ever have when it comes to insert veteran in, kind of like the Rams did with Carson Wentz, is are they in football shape, right? Can they play in the National Football League? Because often, especially for offensive linemen, we see them get out of the league, not go through training camp, not get signed in September, and they may be losing some weight, right? Not staying 300 plus pounds, and that's what you need to be to block big defensive tackles. So if Taylor Lewan is in football shape, yeah, I would be very interested in bringing him in for a workout because James Hudson is a career right tackle mostly. This is going to be a new thing for him. And if he starts to sink, Taylor Lewan might be able to come in and just fill the gap for 3 to 4 weeks until Jedrick Wills comes back and keep this season moving. Oren Smith, next one up on the show. Do you think James Hudson can replace Jed, or could we get another left tackle? I think James Hudson can do an okay job. I know we're all kind of freaking out about losing a starter, but let's also remember Jedrick Wills was not playing all that well to begin with. I think there's an issue with sports fans, like an epidemic, if you will. When a starter goes down, sports fans assume that moving forward, they are playing one man short. The Browns don't have a left tackle. No, that's not true. The Browns don't have Jedrick Wills at left tackle. James Hudson's going to fill in. Now, there's going to be a difference between the two, but that difference is usually not as big as sports fans think it is. When we just assume because that guy's out, then that means there's just no more wide receiver, no more running back or anything like that. No, it's just how much of a production decrease are we going to see? And going from Wills to Hudson, I don't think it's going to be that big of a drop-off at all. Now, before we get on to the rest of the questions on today's Cleveland Browns report, I just want to give a quick shout-out to our sponsor today, which is Game Time. Now, you guys should not have to worry when you're trying to buy tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. Buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. They're obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. So download the Game Time app, redeem this code BROWNSCHAT for $20 off. Again, terms apply, but download the Game Time app, redeem the code BROWNSCHAT for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Cool, guys. Next up on the show, it was just like the AFC East last year. All the AFC North teams could make it into the playoffs. What do you think about this, Petey? If the playoffs were today, yeah, all 4 teams would be in the playoffs. I don't think the Steelers make the playoffs. They have been outgained, out-yardage every single game this season. That's going to catch up to you. Eventually, those breaks are not going to go your way for 17 weeks. They have gone their way enough, and they have been well coached. It's Mike Tomlin. He refuses to go below 500. I don't think the Steelers go to the playoffs. I think the other 3 teams do. That I do agree on. Ryan Chowdhury, next one up on the show. How good does Watson have to do with our defense hopefully playing great? I mean, we saw with P.J. Walker, the Browns could beat the best team in the NFL at the time with the San Francisco 49ers with very bad quarterback play. But one drive at the end of the game can erase all those bad plays beforehand. Ultimately, I think if Deshaun Watson goes out there and averages over the next 9, 10 games or wherever, 240 yards, 230 yards, and 2 to 3 touchdowns to 1 turnover, like that team is going to win a lot of games, right? You get 2 touchdowns from Deshaun Watson and you get 1 on the ground, that's 3 touchdowns. You get 1 or 2 field goals. We're talking about an offense averaging nearly 30 points. You just need the defense not to give up more than 21 points, and you are home free. So Watson does not need to play at an insane level because he has such a great defense backing him up. What's going to make the Browns very dangerous, though, is when they get to the playoffs and the Browns defense faces the best offenses in the league. The Browns offense will be able to go like step for step, punch for punch with the best offenses across the AFC. But the difference will be they won't all have a great defense like Cleveland does. Joshua Miller. Should we look at signing La'el Collins? So La'el Collins, longtime Cowboy, and then Cincinnati Bengal, who tore his ACL, I think it was, very late last year, and then was released by Cincinnati earlier this year, is a career right tackle guy. He has never played left tackle. He played a little bit of left guard, if I remember correctly, but never left tackle. So if you want to sign La'el Collins, you'll be teaching him a new position. And if he can roll with that, maybe. Jason Peters was able to move all over the place. But I have my concerns about adding a guy in November and asking him to play a position he has never played before. He's never taken a snap at left tackle. Big Ben is bad. Okay, I concur. Who needs to step up the most in the second half of the year? Good question. What about Jerome Ford? Right? I think the easy answer could be Deshaun Watson needs to step up more. But we've seen the last couple of games, Deshaun Watson, when healthy, he plays pretty well. And we have also seen that even with below average quarterback play, this defense can win games. But can we see more productivity from the running back room? And it's tough for Jerome Ford because he goes from being a backup, like being the Alex Moran behind Nick Chubb, knowing I won't have to do much, to all of a sudden being the number one running back in an offense that loves to run the football. Like, that's a big graduation moment in a very short time span. But I would love to see more out of Jerome Ford. They've got Kareem Hunt and Pierre Strong there in the wings as well. But if we can get a little bit more consistency out of Jerome Ford, I feel like that's going to make life a lot easier for Watson as he continues to get better and better week by week. Joshua Miller, next one up on the show. Any word on an upgraded or new stadium? The latest I saw was the city of Cleveland put out some renderings of improving the overall surrounding area of Cleveland Brown Stadium, right? A little bit more of a city walk around the lakefront and whatnot, putting in bars, restaurants, shops, all that good stuff. But I have not seen the Haslams come out and say what they are prepared to do. And this is probably going to be not a legal battle by any means, but like a lawyer battle-ish between the Browns and the city and the state and the county as to who wants to pony up the most money, right? The city does not want to put in too much money from the taxpayers, and the team wants the city to put more money in from the taxpayers because, well, the city is going to get a lot of money with all these new restaurants coming in and sales tax and things like that and travel tax and things like that, people coming in for the Browns and concerts and things like that. So no word yet. I think that's what it's going to come down to is trying to find a middle ground between the team and local and state government for who wants to chip in more money for this new stadium. Ryan Chowdhury, last question on the show. How good does Watson have to play this week with the defense? I mean, I literally think Deshaun Watson could throw for 200 yards and 1 touchdown. And if he does not turn the ball over, that could very well be enough to win the game. Think about it. If he throws 1 touchdown to Amari Cooper, they get 1 on the ground from Kareem Hunt. That's 14 points. They get 2 field goals. If I tell you before the game the Browns scored 20 points, you're thinking they've got a very good shot of winning this game. On defense, they give up less than 20 points a game. So Watson does not need to play out of his mind to take down Baltimore. But my whole thing is, you have asked your defense to bail you out so many times. At some point, you're going to pick up the phone and no one's going to be on the other line because the defense can't do it every single week. And we saw that in Seattle. They had to get a first down there. They didn't. Defense couldn't hold up their end of the bargain, unfortunately. So I don't want to use that card too many times and get to the end of the year and the Browns defense just being out of gas. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone who takes time out of their day to come tune into the Cleveland Browns Report. We're going to sign off. We're going to catch up with everyone later. If you enjoyed our content, make sure to like the video if you have not already.